bewildered, baffled, confounded, astounded. Your boy all day, DR47 AM popping off as much rugby league information as possible. Right now, the Cronulla Shark 2014 wooden spoon in Australian Rugby League. Some of the most ludicrous statistics both on and off the field for this particular wooden spoon, and so you don't miss any of those watching this video all the way through to the end as per always. So, quickly do the stats first. Cronulla in 2014, they had 5 wins, 19 losses and 2 byes from the 26 rounds, scored 334 points in attack, conceded 613 in defence, the for and against minus 279, which is pretty standard for a wooden spoon team. The leading try scorer, Sasai Feki, and he only got 9 tries, and was still the leading try scorer. And the leading point scorer, Michael Gordon, and he got 6 tries, 50 goals, 124 points. And that low tally made him the leading point scorer. So, yeah. So you can tell already by the stats that, yeah, they had a very poor season, but that does not tell the full story at all. So, just wanted to get the stats out of the way. Now we'll get into the insanity, the absolute insanity that went down at Cronulla Shark in the year 2014. So, easily the worst year in their history. They previously had 2 other wooden spoons in their first year, 1967, and then in their third year, 1969. Those 2 wooden spoons definitely understandable and forgivable, because, like I've said many times before, when teams are just starting out, just getting up and running, it does take a while to develop into a high quality team, to develop into a competitive team. That does take its time to unfold. So you can understand that you can definitely understand teams getting the wooden spoon or finishing near the bottom of the ladder in their early years, but by the time 2014 rolled around, Sharks have been in the comp nearly 50 years, right? So absolutely no excuses for the on-field rubbish they dished up in 2014, and most definitely no excuse for the on-field incident that occurred in 2014, and I think rugby league fans know which incident I'm referring to. I don't want to say too much about it. Definitely one of the most, definitely something that never entered my train of thought. One of the most disgusting, putrid, despicable incidents we've ever seen. One of their players, of course, performed an act that, of course, blew up and went viral on social media, and he had his contract terminated immediately, as he should have, and that, of course, rocked the team to its core. And I don't want to mention the player's name or the incident, because I think we all know which player I'm talking about and what he did, which was so so absolutely horrendous. But anyway, the on-field performances as well. Like I said, the 5 wins Cronulla had in 2014, they did have 5 wins. Those 5 wins, wow, they played out of this world. They played out of their skin, the 5 games they won. 5 wins they had were performances of the absolute highest order. But then the 9 losses were performances of the lowest order. Well, go figure. You know what I mean? There's no middle ground at all. They either played brilliantly or played disgracefully, but unfortunately, more often than not, they were playing disgracefully. So it wasn't a matter of a lack of potential, it was just a matter of, the on-field incident obviously rocked them to the core, and they just, weren't pulling their weight, playing anywhere near as well as they could have to begin with anyway. So, the moments in the sun, the 5 games that Cronulla won in 2014 were actually brilliant. Like I said, in 2014, round 5, they had thumped the Warriors 37 points to 6 at Shark Park, and the Sharks winger Nathan Stapleton scored over for 4 tries in the one game, so props to Stapleton, hitting 4 in the one game. Always great to see. Twice in 2014, Sharks have managed to upset Penrith. Penrith won the heavyweights in 2014. Penrith, of course, made the 2014 preliminary final, which they lost to Bulldogs 18-12, but at least they got down to the final 4, you know what I mean? They got down to the final 4. So in round 8, Cronulla had beaten Penrith 24-20 at Shark Park, and in round 20, Penrith had beaten Cronulla 18-16 at Bathurst at a neutral venue, so somehow they managed to beat one of the top 4 teams twice, and somehow they pulled off 2 of the most astonishing comebacks we've ever seen. In round 16, 2014, Cronulla had trailed Brisbane Broncos 22-0 after 53 minutes, before somehow racing in 4 late tries, all converted by Michael Gordon, stealing just an astonishing and unthinkable 24-22 win. The very next game they were at it again, and this time they trailed Sydney Roosters 24-0 at Allianz Stadium, before somehow coming back to win 30-28. Wow! So, the 5 games that they won, brilliant. You know, hardly put a foot wrong. Well, even when they got behind against Brisbane and against Roosters, well, they made up for it. Well, they hardly did everything wrong in the 5 games they won. But, unfortunately, on the other hand, they hardly did everything right in the 19 games they lost. So go figure. And out of these 19 games they lost in particular, there was a patch in the middle of the season where they could not score a single point in 3 consecutive games. Believe it or not. 3 single games duck egg. 4 games in the season where they didn't score a point, but 3 in a row at one point they could not get a single bloody damn point. I've been watching rugby league since 1992, and this is the only time I've ever seen a team not score a point 3 consecutive games. It may or may not have happened before 1992. So if anyone out there knows, are there any other occasions where a team has not scored a point 3 consecutive games? Drop a comment below, just so everyone knows, just so we can have some clarity, so we can clarify that one. But the Sharks' embarrassing moments in 2014, there were lots of them. Like I said, the 9 games they lost were pretty much nearly all of them embarrassing. But in particular, in round 2, caned 42 points to 4 by Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. In round 4, not a point, shut out 30-0 by Newcastle at Knight Stadium. But that wasn't the 3 scoreless games in a row. The 3 scoreless games in a row, 2014 round 11, 18-0 shut out by South Sydney at Shark Park. In round 12 they had the bye. In round 13, 30-0 shut out by St George Illawarra Dragons at Wollongong Stadium. In round 14 they had the bye. And in round 15, 26-0 shut out by Manly at Shark Park. 3 games in a row, not a point. And 2 of those 3 games in front of the disgusted home fans at Shark Park. But then somehow, after having those 3 games where they couldn't get a single point, the very next 2 games were the 2 comeback wins I just mentioned, against Brisbane in round 16 and against Roosters in round 17. Go figure how that works. And then just before their season from hell ended, the worst season in their history, just before the season ended, after that player had been found to have done what he did and had his contract terminated, late in the season, in round 23, another humiliating moment, 48-6 thumping from Melbourne Storm at Amy Park, and in round 25, even though they only lost by a point, extremely humiliating again. Going into the round 25 game, Sharks had to play Cowboys up at Townsville, Cowboys home ground. Cowboys were guaranteed the final spot, and Sharks were guaranteed the wooden spoon even if they won this game. And Jonathan Ferguson and co had the Cowboys pretty much firing on all cylinders at that point in time. He had them white hot, making a late season charge into the finals. So with that said, Sharks were expected to lose this game to the Cowboys by a good 40 or 50 points, maybe even 60. But Sharks, they fought tooth and nail. They pulled out an uncharacteristic performance. They fought tooth and nail. Late in the game, the scores were locked at 18-all. Wow. This looked like it could have been one of the most gigantic boilovers, most gigantic upset victories of all time, ever by any team, with the scores locked at 18-all late in the game. Then the Sharks played Daniel Holdsworth. He managed a 37-metre field goal, long-range field goal, and he nailed that one. Sharks led 19-18 with only a few minutes left. Wow, they're only a few minutes away from pulling off one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen. But it then became embarrassing because Thurston, Cowboys' greatest ever player, Jonathan Thurston, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time, easily one of my personal favourites. Thurston, being who he is, decided to sneak over a tricky field goal just before full time to make it 19-all. Then it went into golden point, obviously. And in the golden point period, Thurston then landed his second field goal of the game to give the Cowboys the 2019 winning golden point, one of the all-time classic games for rugby league. What an all-time thriller that was. Sharks looking like they were going to end the season with at least something to cry about, even though they had the spoon. Looking like they were going to at least have something to cry about before Thurston stole that away from them. And that just pretty much sums up the Sharks season. How they could play brilliantly at times, but most of the time they were just not playing anywhere near what they were capable of at all. So there you go. Easily Cronulla Sharks' worst season in their long history, 2014 wooden spoon. To their credit, in 2015 they went much better and made the finals, and in 2016 they had their infamous first ever premiership when they beat Melbourne Storm 14-12 in the 2016 grand final. So it was only 2 years later that they finally won their first comp and put the nightmare of the 2014 spoon behind them. And at least, like I said, it was only their third wooden spoon. They haven't got another one since, so yeah. I suppose we're all entitled to one shocking season, I suppose. So there we go. Your boy all day. Thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end so you didn't miss any crucial rugby league information. Just 10 more wooden spoons now. Count down the last 10 wooden spoons and we can finally move on to another subject. I didn't think it was going to take over a year to get all the wooden spoons done. But there's been so much to go over. So much more than what I originally thought. Next up, we've got a wooden spoon freebie. Newcastle getting the 2015, 2016 and 2017 wooden spoons. Then Parramatta getting 2018. Still the last 10 we've got to go over. But we're nearly there now, just 10 more wooden spoons and we're all done before we can move on to another outstanding, exciting rugby league subject. And thank you so much all day for ongoing pungent, cruel and support. Your boy all day, DL47, Toodaloo.